What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is round 17, Nuff of the week time. And this week, I'm going to look at some defiant behavior from a player who, earlier this year, I very, very much wanted to see come to the Cats. Now, we know that that's not the case anymore. He's confirmed that he's going to remain on the Gold Coast for a couple of years, and that should give enough away now for me to be clear on the fact that we're talking about Matt Rowell, who has been a subject of conversation the last week and a half or so because of umpire contact and the way he's playing the game. The AFL has intervened, and the AFL has determined that, careless contact with umpires is going to warrant significant scrutiny down to potential suspensions. And Matt Rowell just played this weekend against Gold Coast and seemingly made no changes to his game. It's prompted a large amount of conversation, a large amount of concern, a lot of questions, and even in some corners suggested a bit of arrogance from him and the broader Gold Coast Suns Football Club. We'll talk about all of it after a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's dive deeper into this story. Now, I can't bring up the video because we'll get demonetized. So I've gone to Fox Footy, who've compiled an article here outlining the situation and then the comments that Matt Rowell made post-game. So here's how it reads. This is a segment of a larger Round 17 Talking Points article on the Fox Footy website. Please don't hesitate to go check it out for a bit more detail there. They've even got a clip here that's kind of, talking about Matt Rowell maybe giving the middle finger to the AFL. But the article reads, "We're pretty sure the AFL believes some players, including Gold Coast Matt Rowell, are going too far by risking umpire contact at stoppage. As a tactic at stoppages. But we're absolutely sure that Rowell and the Suns don't care what the AFL thinks." And that's what links to the comments that Matt Rowell made post-game. So Rowell is one of three players: Carlton's George Hewitt, St Kilda's Jack McRae, and of course, Matt Rowell himself, currently on 4 fines for umpire contact across the past 2 years, with a fifth almost certain to put them in hot water with the AFL tribunal under new rules brought in last week. While suspensions are unlikely unless the contact is viewed as especially egregious, players attempting to use the umpire backing out of the centre bounce as a basketball screen style are clearly frustrating the whistleblowers and thus the AFL themselves. And I don't blame the AFL, actually. We need to protect our umpires. He's essentially on his last strike. One more bump into an umpire could land him a suspension or certainly a heavier fine, Herald Sun chief footy writer Jay Clark explained on Fox Footy. This was fascinating to watch. This is on Saturday against Essendon. He completely ran the gauntlet with the umpires. Again, let's bring up that image there and exactly how he's doing it, where he's got, you can see on his left here, you've got a hand grabbing him by the jumper. But that hand has to be released as Matt Rowell scoots around the umpire and breaks the contact as a result. But it's a very fine line. And you do see, when you watch this live, you do see a very gentle brush against the umpire. Nothing that would upset the umpire, I'm sure, but they don't know what's going on behind them. They are backing into dangerous space. And so this creates a great risk for the umpires of being injured somehow by a player who maybe doesn't have it quite timed right or isn't looking or gets shoved into the umpire and can get hurt. So there's a lot here still to pull apart. And so it feels like a matter of time before this collision does happen. Matt Rowell was asked about it post-game. Sarah Jones asked him after the game what he thought there about the whole thing. He was pretty abrupt, seeming to adopt the mindset of his coach. And this is what Dimmer said. He'll be mindful about it. The thing is, as soon as the ball goes up, he's a see ball get ball player. It's a challenge. The ball moves around. Blah 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 blah. Let's look. There's a few different comments there, but let's. I'm trying to scroll and find the segment that I'm keen on. I think it might be the article that is then linked. We'll scroll on a little bit here, and here it is here. So in a post-game interview with Fox Footy's Sarah Jones, Rowell was abrupt when questioned about umpire contact situation. I haven't changed anything, he told Jones after Gold Coast beat Essendon by 41 points, and asked if he had spoken to Hardwick on any tinkers in his style of play that prevented contact. Rowell was again stern in his response. I'm just going to keep doing me. Now, I honestly think this is just... I love Matt Rowell. I think he's an exceptional footballer. And maybe he is going to continue to roll the dice and take the risk. And in many respects, I kind of applaud that. Play your game, apply a strategy. You are not trying to actively make contact with an umpire, but you are rolling the dice and taking a risk with every single time you try to do this. With every single centre bounce, and you position yourself behind the umpire, you are taking an enormous risk. And one of these days, I talk about rolling the dice, the articles refer to it, you are taking an enormous risk, and that can blow up in your face. Matt Rowell could very well find himself suspended at a very, very important time before a key matchup, before a final, during the final series, because he makes contact with an umpire and he has been flagrantly pushing up against this rule the entire time. When you find yourself in an interview like this is your opportunity to go, look, I'm still trying to work it out. I'm trying to adapt my game. There's some old habits. I'm trying to break those. But, maybe I haven't quite got it right yet. And be diplomatic. But he didn't do that. He dug his heels in and continued to stand by his stance, which is that I'm allowed to do this and I can and should be able to do this. And so you look like a fool. And in the eyes of the umpires, in the eyes of the AFL, you're now putting in a massive target on your back. You're not helping yourself. You can't make a case for yourself if it has to go to the tribunal because you've been flagrantly denying the importance of this up until that point. So Matt Rowell, Dimmer Hardwick, Gold Coast Suns Football Club, the organisation, think a little bit more about this. He can still try and play this game. He can still try to create a bit of extended separation between himself and his opponent by using the umpire. Maybe don't do it all the time. And maybe when you get the opportunity to talk about it post-game or in interviews during the week, you're a little bit more diplomatic and you trying to be a little bit more self-reflective and say, look, I'm trying. I'm not always getting it right. I'm trying. Because in the eyes of the umpires, in the eyes of the AFL, that's going to go down much better. And if you do screw it up, there might be a little bit more generosity thrown your way. Maybe it becomes a fine instead of a suspension. You are taking an almighty risk, Matt Rowell, and it's a very foolish risk. And it makes you this week's Nuff of the Week. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Thank you for checking this video out. He is hoping that if we have to play against the Gold Coast Suns, that he gets himself knocked out by suspension, not KO'd. Suspended before that game. It'd be great. Make our life a lot easier. Thank you all for having watched this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out every video we're producing here on the Hoops Crew. There's lots of awesome stuff from Post-Game Live to the Paul James Show. They're both live products. We've got lots of pre-recorded content, my match reactions, and more. Check it all out on the Hoops Crew's YouTube channel. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where you can subscribe for early access, extended, and exclusive content. There's a 7-day free trial to see if it's all for you. And if you like it, it only costs $5 a month to continue to get that goodness delivered directly to your email inbox. In terms of socials, you'll find me at Paul James Games. That's on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Matty Rowell, I'd love to see you in the hoops in the future, but you're a bit of a nuff right now. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.